Slow down, baby. Don't slow down.
Problem is nothing cause I'm counting no A. Nah, I couldn't be there. Nah, you shouldn't be scared. I'm good at repair and I'm under the snare. It's tangible. Bet you didn't think so I command you to. Panoramic view. Look, I'll make it all manageable. Pick and choose, sit and lose on your different cruise. Chicks and dudes, so you think it's really kicking too. Picture you getting down in a picture too. Like you lit the fuse. You think it's fictional, mystical, maybe spiritual. Hero who appears in music to give you a you're too crazy. Life is the total definition of what life is. Priceless to you because I put you on the high shit you like it. Guns go you right to the one. So recycling the one, no possession. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine. In a bag of useless. Love for love, the future is coming on. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine. In a bag of useless. Love for love, the future is coming on.
Now you just died. Left a low profile. No six-shut alligator shoes. Girls hypnotized. Gonna make them lose their minds. Waking a hurricane to you. It's a fine way to die. She always stays in the spotlight. Do what you were born to do. No lazy grind. You cut this by just a total line. It's your ride. You done paid your dues.
The basics, without did you make it? Allow me to make this child like your nature. Rhythm, you have it or you don't. That's a policy, I'm in them. Every sprouting tree, every cloud of peace, every cloud of sea. You see with your eyes, I see destruction in the mind, corruption in the sky, from this fucking enterprise. Now I'm stuck into your lives, we rust, so now this nothing so professor, you so fine. Listen, y'all can see now, but you don't see with your eye. You perceive with your mind, that's the inner. So I'ma stick around with Russ and be a mentor. With a few rhymes, with motherfuckers, what the thought is. I brought all this for you. When law is lawless, feelings, sensations that you thought was dead. No squealing, the lights all in your head.
Don't slow down, Johnny. Keep the Cadillac running. You a soul man, honey. 6th Street girl and that beat in the pocket. Don't slow down, Johnny. Keep the Cadillac running. You on the road now, Johnny. 6th Street girl and that beat in the pocket. 6th Street, gonna be beat in the pocket. Don't slow down, Johnny. Keep the Cadillac running. You on the road now, Johnny. 6th Street, gonna be beat in the pocket.
Champion in 3030, but now it's 4010. From the ashes, higher rising. The new style is Deltron Osiris. If you can buy this, let's go along and see how we go so far. The road is gone. Osiris, I'm here in the afterlife. In the future, where brothers will have to fight. Scramble, full-scale chaos, reckless abandon. Cats will sell they hand for a handgun. Follow your commander, no, you can't stand them. No planning, wild and dangerous. Anger just permeates, so we learn to take hostility with a grain of salt and step out the way, cause it ain't our fault. Blank balls, blown to smithereens. Whatever's left is left for the fiends, but you better not mess with the team. Deltron and damn, we melt those to ash. They're in the flash and not in the pan. It's all in the plan, in a lawless land. Just so y'all can understand, I got a legacy to chase. Live up the fam.
All right, we would like to welcome to the stage your offensive coordinator of the UMASS Minutemen, Corbin McMillan.
Hey Richie, you got that prescription we were talking about? Appreciate you. How's it going, guys? How you guys doing today?
Thank you. We're doing good. How are you doing today? You had another wonderful win. Very difficult team, it seemed. Not the same, but you got to play them at home. Real quick, any questions? No? All right. So I got a good question for you. The first half was dismal. I think 7 points were scored. And then they came out, I think, ran down the field, threw one up. What happened? What were you doing? You sprinkle a little magic salt on them?
Man, I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. That was stressful. The entire game. You guys saw a score right there with the blowout, but up until about 3 minutes left in that game, it was a possession and a half game. It was a 10-point game for the larger part of that game. It just took a while to get that offense cooking. I know Lionel threw that pick in the early, right there at the end of the second half. Or right there at the end of the first half. You never like to see that kind of thing. I never want to go into halftime with some animosity, something for these guys to think about. But sometimes that'll take over and it'll get stuck in a guy's brain. Man, that's why we got Lionel. That's why everyone keeps talking shit on this redshirt sophomore that we got. That's why I stick to him, and that's why I'm going to stick with him. Adversity happens, but this dude's going to keep playing football. He's going to show up to the next play, restarting his mind, resetting it like it's a brand new drive. He knows he has a game to win. I mean, look at the score. We ended up beating this team, I don't know, 35-6, something like that. Sure, he went 10 for 18. That all probably happened in the first half, missing that 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. The man went off still. Dude still had a game. He didn't get the most yards, but I'm completely happy with the way we showed up to play there at the second half.
All right, so you seem pretty proud of Lionel's performance. The big question is Webster. He literally had one stat, and that was a drop. What are you thinking about him?
Man, we're not a one-player team. Look at these other stats. We got Jose White, he had a couple catches. He had 71 yards and a touchdown. We had Miller, 31 yards. We had Hawkins, he had a touchdown. Williams, his biggest play of the day was when the game was still close and he had the 44-yard touchdown when things mattered. I mean, we want to get all these guys involved. Sure, he didn't have any catches. Maybe it was just an off day. It just seemed like that first half, I don't know what happened. These guys need to show up at the first half and be ready to play some football. It just seemed like we came out a little lackluster, and I don't know if that comes down to coaching, if I got to get these guys more pumped up, if I got to get these guys talked up. This wasn't the biggest game. We expect to be up there playing with these guys in the top 10, and this wasn't a top 10 team. This probably was a top 50 team, to give them credit even. And these guys know that they're some of the best players in the league, and they just got to play that way throughout the entire game. If they want their stats to look consistent, if they don't want questions like that asked at the end of the game, they need to show up all game long.
So, I mean, Williams had a good game. He picked up that 60-yard onside kick recovery. I don't know if you witnessed that. That was special teams showed up this week. They did a lot for you guys. How do you feel about having like special teams to rely on? And defense did give up that touchdown at the end, and special teams did block the extra point.
I believe defense gave up that touchdown in the second quarter. But as far as the entire team playing together like that, you got special teams, you got defense, you got offense. It's an entire team. I get along very well with the head coach, the special teams coach, defensive coordinator. We all know this is one big unit. We, especially special teams, they get both our players. They get players off the offense and they get players off the defense. So it's just a credit to every coordinator and every coach that keeps these guys athletes, keep these guys playing their position, and don't let anyone take off on special teams. That was a slow kick to the very edge of the field there, and Williams is just a stud. He's running down the field to go murder some guy to return the ball, but instead he just saw a ball there, jumped on it, and next thing you know, we got a touchdown. Just hate to say it, run up the score at the end, but we ended up winning by a decent margin, and I would say it was a close game for the most part.
That first half was real close. Now, most definitely, the skill players on offense are showing out. Like you brought it up, White. I think he scored in this game. Last game he didn't score, but he put up numbers. Hawkins, he looked like he didn't get hurt this week. I think he put up some good numbers.
Get a touchdown.
All right, so hey,
Sure.
Hey, it's 2 touchdowns on 2 players. That sounds like a good game, but it looks like your offensive line is failing. I know your right tackle, he's a kid, he gave up a sack, and your left guard gave up a sack. And I think they were both on like third downs, crucial points of the game. How do you feel about, basically the heart kind of week?
I'll be honest with you guys. Last week I blew off the media. I didn't want to talk about this guy Lionel, our QB, getting hurt and things like that, but the dude took some big hits tonight. He's got an ice bath waiting for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, he took a couple of hits, even if he didn't get sacked.
The offensive line, we still need to shore these guys up. It's all kids. We don't have a single person on that offensive line with any experience. Maybe one guy, I think that might have a year or 2 under his belt, but it's a brand new offensive line. What can we ask? It's going to take this year of progression. Every game, these guys are getting better. There's a lot of sacks, but just give it some time. These guys are going to get better. These guys are all kids. These guys are highly recruited kids for a reason. They'll be all right.
Are you going to change the game plan then? Get the ball out of Lionel's hands, keep him safe?
I want to keep the game plan the same, but I want to do some more throwing out of underneath the center. I want these guys to think run more often. I don't want them to just be running at the quarterback, pass rushing all the time. I need to keep these guys off balance. If anything, I guess we could run some more, give Gold some more burn, but just the way we line up going into each play, I don't want them knowing what's going to happen when we come out of the huddle.
So between this week and last week, there's been a lot of questions of who's starting, who's going to get the ball more. Is this it? You moving forward like this, or is still a question to change?
I've never had any question with who's going to start and who's going to get this burn. We got Gold out there getting the majority of the carries, and we got Lionel Ferguson as our starting quarterback. That's all you guys need to know.
All right. So while we were talking to you, we don't know if Dana will make it today or not. He's very busy.
No, he's got all sorts of shit going on.
So we're going to ask you this. We were really hoping to ask Dana. We might get him on the horn later, but Bob Atrum, did you see what he did? Upset the LSU Tigers?
Why are we talking about fucking Bob Atrum right now? This press conference is over. If we see him, if we see him in the bowl game, it's over.
All right.
Dana over here. So, how's it feel? This was a big week, second week as the head coach of University of Massachusetts. With everything going on, you got the coronavirus, you got all these expectations of what this season can bring, and you got to win in your second week as a head coach. How's it feel?
Feels good. I'm happy to have it behind me. I wanted this week to be over, and was successful in every way it could be successful. I feel great about it. More importantly, nobody's sick. Nobody's sick. Nobody's gotten sick. And hopefully that's the case. There's no guarantees in life.
Dana over here with the Gazette. I guess you could say that the other team, UCF, got kind of angry when you guys kind of ran up the score and you were able to finally get your offense working there in the fourth. Is this something you guys plan on always doing as far as getting those last second points and making those stats look good at the end of the game? And also, how'd you feel about UCF? It seemed like they got kind of chippy there at the end, a little late fourth quarter. It seemed like I guess you could say they were pulling a lot of cheap shots and little dirty plays going on there at the end. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. This is what we're gonna do. Listen, obviously, you guys know me. You've dealt with me long enough. When we're doing what we're doing, and you're just taking unnecessary punishment. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fucking snap eventually, and I do. But we worked hard. We worked hard to pull this thing off and to get here. And nothing means more to me than the safety of everybody that was involved in the event.
One more question for you over here, Dana. So this is still early in the season. Some would say that's a middle of the road UCF team that you just faced. You got a lot of bigger competition coming ahead. I just wanted to ask you how you feel about this team and how you think they're going to perform against some of these big schools, especially if you make it to a top 10, make it in the top 10 like I think you're going to, and when it comes bowl season, you're going to be playing a big time school. How are you going to prepare for that kind of team? Appreciate it, Dana.
Yeah, well, first of all, nothing has mattered to us but this week right now. This is all we care about. Getting through this week. We go home, we start getting back in the office next week. All of our employees are being tested right now. So we're testing the whole company. And then we're going to get everybody back to work. And the matchmaking meeting is Tuesday. So we'll get our shit together next week.
Hey, Dana, Eric Shanks over here, longtime fan. Hey, my girl was talking about you last night, and she said if you were down, yeah, her right here, the smoke show. She said if you're down, man, we can pull a threesome. We got plenty of drugs and shit. You let me know what you're trying to do after this press conference, man. We got some party favors, you could say. Take it easy, man.
Eric Shanks, you dirty bastard.
Dana, we noticed you and your son took some time off last week. We didn't see you. We didn't see you in this press conference, and we didn't see your son on the field. We were just wondering, how was Hawaii? How were the waves? I heard you big time surfer, and that you guys just kind of hung out and did your thing. And also heard your son actually won a surfing competition out there. What's going on, Dana? Is your son going to surf, or is he going to come play backup middle linebacker for the Minutemen, or is he going to do both? You let us know. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
My surfing days are way behind me. I don't mess with that anymore. But I love surfing. I have a surf show coming out. We start filming here pretty soon, actually, in the next several weeks. It's going to be on ABC. I'm happy for my son. San Diego's awesome, and he loves football. He's super passionate about it, and his first PR.
Thank you.
He likes the media better than I do. He's had a good run. Good? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Defensive coordinator, Brass Dillinger.
Welcome. I'm here for the fan base.
Coach, it looks like you're coming in with some excitement today. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
The happiness is within. I got to bring a little extra excitement for my soul today. Because my God, I feel worse than the first week.
Coach, it's crazy to hear you say things like that when so far 2 games into the season your defense has given up a total of 6 points. What can you attribute that to? With last week you said you weren't too impressed with the team. How are you feeling about them today?
Less impressed. I attribute the 6 points to me. If I was on the field, we would have 0 points. That's how bad the team is. I just feel worse.
Sounds like you have quite the ego today here, Coach. We saw a bunch of big plays out of your defensive line, and even the secondary after getting the ball driven down the field on them the one time, it seems like they really started to show up and were holding their coverage pretty tight the rest of the game. How do you feel about the secondary?
The secondary actually came away with less interceptions than last week. So if you knew how many interceptions we had last week, you'll know how many interceptions we had this week. No, they weren't holding the coverage. Literally, I didn't check stats on defense. I checked the offensive stats of the opposing team. And they had a cumulative about 15 drops. So that's how good our coverage was. We were able to give up 15 drops. So in my eyes, we were able to allow the ball to get to the receiver's hands. And their receivers were so subpar, they weren't able to hold on to the ball. So that's how I feel about our secondary play. They played less than before. I was actually talking to Lane Cotton. I Joe play in this game. And his performance was terrible, even though he had like 2 tackles or something. I don't know, still terrible. Gave up a completion. He may not see the field anymore. Any more questions?
Oh yeah, Coach, I got a couple more for you here. Even though we might have seen the game differently, it does seem like your hard criticism has turned to some great success, so no complaints over here. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is we saw some linebacker play that it seemed like they didn't want to play up, didn't see the aggressive style that I can only assume a coach like yourself would look to see out of your linebackers. Any thoughts on them?
So, Clay is the only linebacker, in my personal opinion, that showed up. And then that was only for the first 2 quarters. After that, he was kind of getting a little weak. For some reason, he couldn't pick up on the quarterback scramble. I mean, that was literally their only play. That touchdown they scored, he scrambled and then he threw it to the back of the end zone for the touchdown. So, we got to figure out a way to work on that. Clearly, their awareness is not up to that. And, there's more that they got to focus on.
Speaking of that QB run, though, what are you guys going to do to fix that? If we have another quarterback come into the stadium who might be a little more athletic or might have a little bit more athletes around him, how are you going to get that stopped? How are you going to get that shirt up this week in practice?
Shoot, I got some secrets, but truth be told, it's on the players. I went double quarterback spy with 2 safeties to compensate the speed of the quarterback, and he still gave it up. So it's on them. They got to step up. I mean, literally the quarterback was the whole team. If we were just stopping him, we could have had it. Spinner, everybody was saying Spinner was about to be first-round draft pick, best DN. He didn't even show up this week. He had 0 stats. That means he was getting put on his ass probably.
All right, well, just one last question here for you, Coach, and we'll let you get out of here to your family and kids. Can we get a player of the game out of you? We tried last week as well. You said you didn't have one. We're just going to keep asking.
No,
what about today?
Not this week. Defense is cold, man. We get no love. We get no love because if we lost 6-0, it was like, well, defense gave up the touchdown. Maybe if defense didn't give up the touchdown, the offense could have got us in field goal range. That's how cold it is. So we have to play like that. Special teams showed up big time this week. Did their thing. We always can rely on them. But yeah, I don't know, man. If a player of the week, we gotta see what everyone else says. He gotta be player of the week for the whole nation if he wants to be player of the week on the team. All right. So, any more questions?
No, I think that's it. Enjoy your evening, Coach.
Well, thank you. See you guys next week. Have fun.
Take care, Coach. Good job on the W.
Banana.